When I was in my mid-20s, I knew I wanted to be a 3D artist. I was lucky enough to get my first 3D modeling job in 2009, and 2 years later I decided to become a freelancer and solo entrepreneur. Back then 3D was only becoming popular and it was much easier to land a job compared to what it is today. So now, almost 15 years later, if I had to start it all over again, this is how I'd do it. This video is kindly sponsored by Squarespace, more on that later. We all know 3D feels quite overwhelming, and that's because at the beginning you're learning 3 things at the same time: software, implementation of the software, and creativity. Most people, and I was never different, struggle with the creative side because it feels like it's something you have to be born with, which I believe is not true, and with some time and practice you can learn it, but still, especially at the beginning, I'll be taking the biggest shortcuts on creativity, and I would do it by stealing. You see, when I learned this thing, I don't do it by composing my own music from day one. At first, I don't even know how to hold it, and the only way to learn is by playing songs that I enjoy listening to. And the same applies to 3D. When it comes to creativity, I would steal from people who inspire me. I would imitate their composition, style of 3D modeling, or the way they use colors, because by doing that, I'm not only learning what makes their art good, I'm also producing nicer images and developing my own artistic style. From day one, I'd focus on becoming my own critic. We all look to be appreciated by others, that's why we share our works online. But who are the people commenting on it? What is their background, their motivation? Do they even know anything about 3D? What's their track record? Every time I'd produce a new content, I would look at it and ask myself, what is the one thing that I can improve? Is it lighting, texturing, or perhaps details on the 3D model? And instead of immediately jumping on Reddit and asking others how to fix my image, I'd spend some time trying to figure it out myself. And once I'd realize what's wrong, I would move to the next step. Instead of working for days on that one image that's only great in my head, I would fix 1 or 2 things that actually look bad and move on. It has been proven multiple times that people who focus more on quantity outperform those who obsess over quality. And when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. Will it make the project look any better if I put more hours of my level 1 skill into it? I would first need to level up my 3D skills by making more projects, and only then it would make any sense to invest more time into something more ambitious. Picasso supposedly made around 1,500,000 artworks through his entire life. Do you think each one of them was a masterpiece? So if he was doing it, I don't think we're better than him. Instead of only sharing my works online, I would also take time and publish some insights on how I did them. Even as a beginner, I know I can publish a valuable content, for example, on things that I've learned or mistakes that I've made. Over time, documenting my work could become a great base for a YouTube channel or even paid content like a course. To do that, I would need to launch a personal website, which might seem like a lot of work compared to simply uploading stuff on social media, but in all honesty, it was never easier to do that thanks to companies like Squarespace. I was using Squarespace way before they reached out to me as a sponsor of this video, and they've always been my go-to solution if I needed to build a custom website. Squarespace is just quick and super easy to use thanks to their Fluid engine, which is a next-generation website design system that requires no coding skills. They also have tons of free and beautiful templates to choose from, and I'm sure you'll find something that fits your style. You can also build an online store or a paid membership website using Squarespace, so if you plan to monetize your content, this could be a perfect fit. If you want to try it yourself, head over to squarespace.com/chocofur to receive 10% discount on your first purchase of a website or a domain. Only after doing 3D for a while, I would decide what should be my main area of focus. Should I become an animator, 3D modeler, ArcBiz artist, or maybe a 3D generalist? Am I looking to work with design agencies, game dev studios, or visual effects sweatshops? Answering those questions would help me to avoid distractions and keep my portfolio consistent. I would, for example, avoid putting high-quality, clean product renderings together with heavily stylized cartoon characters. As a beginner, I won't be able to upload high quality works in two completely separate areas of 3D. One would definitely look worse than the other, and that leads me to the final step. I would remove all low-quality projects from my portfolio. It might be scary because what if I have nothing else to show? If you are in that position, I suggest moving back to points 4 and 5, doing more and improving at least one thing every time you start a new project. Removing poor quality works is a trick I didn't know about for many years. I would do it because every time I'd apply for a new job or share my portfolio, it would be always judged by the poorest projects that I have. In real life situations, even after years of experience in 3D, you can barely ever finish the projects the way you want. Tight deadlines, stress, complaining clients, all this decreases the quality of your final output, and the weakest project in your portfolio is the quality you'll be most likely able to deliver as an employed 3D artist or a freelancer. In the next video, I'm also sharing 16 more tips that I've learned over the years on how to improve my render quality in Blender.